we're a couple of days after the first World Cup of the year at a brand new venue, and you were on a brand new bike, so talk about trial by fire. It went pretty well, eh?
Yeah, it did, man. It was, it's always exciting to be racing a new bike, and it was really exciting for me because I had a hand in helping design this thing. So yeah, we got it maybe 2 or 3 months ago and started, just testing with Fox and everybody and dialing the suspension in and all that. But from the first day I got on it, it was basically everything that I wanted as far as the little changes and tweaks we made. So I really believed it would be good, and so it felt good to do a few runs on it a few months ago and kind of confirm those feelings straight away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's been good. I've done quite a bit of racing at home the last about month and a half, a whole lot of riding, and we've just been dialing it in, and it feels great to get it here to the World Cups and win the race this weekend.
Yeah, so you came off a very successful bike, obviously. The previous generation of the TUES was doing well.
Yeah.
The understatement of the year. You were racking up the results. So how did you go about, sort of getting into the development of this new bike? Because you were actually quite heavily involved from the get-go. Yeah,
and for us, the old TUES was such a good bike. For me, I didn't have a part in developing that one, obviously, because I wasn't on the team at the time. But when I came on to YT, from the first day I rode it, it was just a really comfortable bike for me. I loved it, and after racing the last 2 years on it, we started probably working on this bike about 1.5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. We started chatting about it, and it's been in the works for longer than that. But that's when I got involved, and we just had different ideas, and YT had like some more complex ideas about linkage systems and doing things and whatever, and we had a meeting in Germany probably 1.5 years ago, and I was just really happy with the bike that we were on. Everything was working good, but I had spent enough time on it to where I had a little bit of feedback. It was hard for me at first because when I got on the old bike, I liked it so much, I didn't have a lot of feedback. They were like, all right, what do you want to change? Because when I signed the contract, that was a big signing point. I wanted to make sure they were willing to adapt and change the bike if we needed to and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, they were all really anxious to get my feedback that first year, but it took me probably over halfway through the season to start getting some feedback because it just felt good. So anyways, I started noticing little things, and I was like, if this was tweaked a little here or here, that would be nice. And so yeah, we were working on kind of a different sort of style of bike, and so we had a meeting, and I kind of just told the guys, I'm really comfortable on this bike. I love it. It seems like everybody I talk to loves it. The media loves it. The public loves it. Everybody really enjoys this bike. It's a solid platform. It's really easy to tune, to set up, and it just does everything well. It's really well-rounded. There's not a lot of, for me, there was no big issues that stuck out. So I was a little nervous to go with like a full redesign because I felt like it was just such a good bike. So we basically just chatted a little bit and just came to the agreement that we just wanted to refine what we had. There were improvements we could make that I feel would be pretty substantial once they're all combined together. And that's basically what we did with this bike. So it's based on the last bike, but we've refined kind of everything a little bit.
All right.
And that's really what I was looking for. So I guess some of the bigger differences that people will see in the specs and stuff straight away is it's a lot lighter.
Okay.
It's about 1.5 pounds lighter, I believe.
All right.
The majority of that weight is basically from here back. So when you ride the bike, you notice that, instantly as far as how snappy the bike is. And when you go to pump it or pedal it, accelerate it with the rear end being a lot lighter, the thing just responds a lot quicker. You also, for me, I've set my suspension up a little bit different. I'm running a little bit softer on this bike, actually. I don't know if it's just the weight difference in the rear being a little bit lighter or whatever, but the setup has been a little bit different. But yeah, so the weight is a big thing that people will notice straight away. Obviously we have a full carbon link and carbon rear end to accomplish that. And then the leverage curve of the bike, it's just slightly less progressive than the old bike, but it's only right that last little bit of the curve. So the first 3/4 of the curve really will feel pretty much the same. But that last little bit, it's just got a little less ramp. So for me, we were just getting a little bit of a kick every once in a while in certain conditions when it would get choppy. So I kind of wanted the bike to feel like it would just plant just a little bit better through some of the rough stuff, and still have the hold up that it's kind of known for. I really like progressive bikes, and so it still has that. So you can just launch it off a building and you'll be all good, but it'll track the ground, through the bumps. So that was a tweak we made. And then just lots of little tweaks. If you look at the bike, you'll kind of notice obviously the aesthetics are a bit different, so they worked on that. And then just everything from like the frame protectors to the cable routing guides, the way they did it, everything's just integrated and clean. Like we really wanted to just make the bike super clean. It's a little bit more versatile now too. You're able to put like a reach adjust headset in the bike, so you can run it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. I'm actually running an extra large with it in the short position with the reach headset.
Right.
I think the other boys are running double X. Angel has it in the long, and Nico's running it stock.
Okay.
So it gives you a little bit of room to fudge the sizes.
Is that up for you from the previous frame? Is that up a size or?
It's basically the same as last year's XL.
Okay.
All the sizes went up just a little bit this year, so I'm running a bigger frame. It's still the XL frame, and then I bring the reach back just slightly, so it's about the same as last year's bike for me. So that's cool. You can mess around with that. We changed some of the heights in the stack and some of the different things too. The other bike, the front end, we were running a lot of spacers between the upper crown and the frame to get the ride height that I felt like we needed. So we adjusted a few things, so you don't have to run as many spacers and all that stuff. So everything just be clean. That was really the goal, was just to refine it and just keep tweaking everything that we had that was so good.
Right.
And just make everything a little bit better. And I thought actually the bike would be maybe a little more similar than it is. I was surprised that the scooter gang was
relentless. They're just relentless.
But with all the little changes we made, when I got on the bike, it actually does feel a bit different than the old one, all in a good way. So I was really pleased the first day. I thought, like, yeah, it's going to be a great bike, and it's just going to be a little bit better than the old one. But to me, it felt quite a bit better, which I was surprised because I really liked that other bike. So yeah, man, and it just looks awesome. I just really enjoy riding it from the first time I got the prototype, and I was bummed I had to cover it up the last few months and all that because it looks so good. So, you know, it's really like you kind of got to see it in person a little bit too. There's so many little details, even the way they match the shock angle with the down tube, and they kind of hollow this out a little bit to get everything to just fit tight and clean. All the hardware we use, everything on the bike, we work really hard with my mechanic John to make sure that all the hardware and the way everything fits together with the axle and all this stuff, that nothing's weird when you work on the bike. It's super reliable. The hardware is just, it's super strong. And there's no like weird technique you got to do to take your shock in and out, or the axle or whatever. Like you can't really, I won't say you can't jack it up, but you have to try pretty hard. Like it's really just a simple, clean, sturdy design. So that was important for us. So yeah, basically all the details was basically we just try to refine everything.
And this bike that we're actually looking at here is literally your race bike, and it is literally the bike that's going to go on sale. Well, that is on sale now if you're watching this video today.
Exactly. Yeah, so we have, I think they're calling it the Mob Edition. And it is, like you said, it's everything that I ride. Down to a T. It's exactly what I raced on Sunday. So I've got a few things in my suspension that is just different to my tune and stuff. But it's same shock, same forks, tires, brakes, bars, you name it.
Paint job.
Detail. Paint job.
Right.
So it's yeah, there's no excuses.
There are no excuses.
Show up and win yourself a World Cup.
That's right.